It's Wednesday, the 7th of July. It's the second to last day of the sitting block before a 3-week recess. We start the day with oral questions to ministers, as we normally do. Judith Collins to the Prime Minister about whether she stands by her government statements and actions. Helen White to the Minister of Finance about reports on the economy. Michael Woodhouse to the Minister of Finance about the Treasury's long-term forecasts. Paul Eagle to the Minister of Housing about transitional housing in Wellington. Brooke Van Velden to the Associate Minister of Housing about houses being built at Ihimātao. Anahila Kanongataha Suisuiki to the Minister for Social Development about expansions to launch more graduates into employment. Louise Upston to the Minister of Social Development about whether she has confidence the government is doing all it can to ensure that children are safe while in emergency housing. Rachel Brooking to the Minister of Oceans and Fisheries about announcements that he's made. Ricardo Menendez-March to the Minister of Social Development about how many people are getting more than $20 as a result of the 1 July changes. Chris Bishop to the Minister for COVID, what percentage of people living in residential care have not yet received a COVID vaccine. Rachel Boyack to the Minister of Transport, what progress has been made on replacing the Inter-Islander ferries. And Nicola Willis to the Associate Minister of Housing about numbers on the waiting list. We'll then go on to the general debate. 12 5-minute speeches, MPs can say more or less what they want. Education and training grants, budget measures amendment bill, it's the third final reading in the name of Chris Hipkins. Then we will take urgency. There's a special bill to extend audit timeframes. The Auditor General has some restrictions on when reports have to be tabled. Unfortunately, because of COVID and migration and delays, they won't be finished on time, so they're going to be deferred by 2 months. That will go through all its stages. That might finish tonight. If it does, we'll go on to the Gas Information Disclosure and Penalties Amendment Bill, the third reading in the name of Megan Woods, and the Fair Trading Amendment Bill, third reading in the name of David Clark. If that bill doesn't finish, we'll go through till 10 o'clock tonight and we'll be back dealing with that matter only at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.